1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. Good afternoon, Digital 2019. Our world is changing, and it's changing in a scary, fast way. In our generation alone, we moved from phone to smartphone, which is actually a mini computer in our pockets. We moved from things like, suddenly we have social networks, all of us, in Instagram, Facebook, even TikTok. I don't know, how many people are using TikTok here? Anybody? Okay, we have some. And we have a huge transformation, and the biggest thing that actually transformed in our generation, that suddenly our world is truly, truly global. Now what it means, actually, that on the one hand, we have a lot of opportunities. We can outreach to different markets, new markets, only without any boundaries. We can outreach to new countries, new offerings. But on the other side, suddenly, we have customers that know what they can get. They are much smarter. Our competitors suddenly are much tougher because they can move very fast. They're much more agile than before. And in the end, we have only one way to go, up. We have to develop. We have to improve. We have to keep it up. So, my name is Lior Romanowsky. I'm coming from Tel Aviv, Israel. I'm the very, very proud founder and CEO of Spartans. Spartans is a company that basically implementing and helping companies all over the world, from Japan, Australia, United States, UK, you name it, to implement technologies such as augmented reality, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, and not only implement them, but also implement them in a way that they actually bring benefit, financial benefit, to the company. And actually, there are a couple of Spartans right here. So, how we are making sure that we are still relevant, right? So we said that we have a very, very transformative era. We have a lot of competitors that are changing all the time. So how do we keep up? There's a lot of presentations, talks, TED Talks, you name it, about innovation, how to do innovation, implementation of innovation. But in the end, let's sum it up. There are 3 main steps. Identify, invent, implement. Now let's break it down very quickly. Identify. The first thing that we do with companies that work with us is really to try to understand what is the biggest opportunity here. What is the business challenge and what we can create in order to create a real competitive advantage. If you compare yourself to any of your competitors, what will be the game changer? How can you be not just good, really, really, really good, and much better? And we focus on identifying those opportunities and thinking about them. The second step is really to understand how we're gonna implement it. What will be the concept that we will be using in order to actually achieve that? Everything, every idea that you will have, there are many technologies, many ways to implement it. Every day there's a new technology, so according to your budget, according to your needs, according to your goals, in the end you will need to define specifically what you want actually to achieve. The third one, which is important as, if not more, is really the implementation. So you can have an amazing solution. You can build the most amazing product, the most innovative stuff inside your enterprise. But in the end, if it won't be implemented correctly, and if you won't deliver it to your customers in the proper way, in the most effective way, nothing helps. It won't be worthwhile. You just wasted a lot of money to your enterprise. So we need to become innovators. Each one of us, in our enterprise, in our organization, we need always to think, what can we do differently, better, in order to cope with the competition that's created. And before we dig in, and I want to present to you today a couple of examples of amazing companies that all of us heard about, love. But before I dive into examples, I really want to talk about 2 of those technologies. Augmented reality and artificial intelligence. When I founded the company in 2017, one of the things that I was thinking about, okay, What are the technologies that will really impact our lives in the next 10 years? What will take our lives the next step? So there are two technologies that I believe, and there are a couple of even wiser people than me, that say that augmented reality and artificial intelligence are the next thing. And how do you know that I'm right? Because you see that all the biggest companies in the world, if it's Facebook, Google, Amazon, all the big ones in Silicon Valley, and even like in Europe, in Japan, and so on, are investing tremendous attention. And attention is the most expensive thing for a company. Attention for augmented reality, artificial intelligence. How they can utilize it, what they can offer. And we see in augmented reality a huge growth, huge, in the world of mobile. So yes, you have devices like Magic Leap, which are a huge company now in Florida. Probably all who heard about Magic Leap in the audience? Okay, there are some. We have a launch of HoloLens 2, which was long anticipated, with much better performance, much better experience. If somebody here experienced HoloLens before, you saw how limited it is in terms of the view. And suddenly, it's much better. But the biggest impact is actually on the world of mobile. Suddenly, you have amazing experience that you can build in mobile applications, but also in web interfaces. So without even downloading anything, your future customers, or your current customers, can experience augmented reality. And in the end, augmented reality is a digital layer on what you have now. If it's a commercial product, a retail product, or it's some advertisement that you are doing, a billboard, and you can utilize it in many, many ways. The other thing that we are actually doing here a lot locally is artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is a very vague word. It has a lot of capabilities under it. You can think about it as a tree of capabilities. From things like computer vision, which means that the computer basically sees something in a picture or video and knows to understand what he sees, analyze, and so on. Things like NLP, voice-based automation. Everybody's talking about right now. We're actually going to see it, a reference to it in one of the videos. And in the end, we have machine learning that can be utilized pretty much like everywhere. It really depends on you, what you want to achieve. Not everywhere it's relevant, but you can implement it everywhere. And in the end, a lot of it happens here. As I said before in the beginning, one of the things that are really remarkable in our generation, that all of us have a mini computer inside our pocket. All of us. And that's amazing. Just think about the capabilities of a mobile phone. Here we have the Note 10. The Note 10 is so much stronger than the computing power that brought people to the moon. Think about it. It's amazing. I chose a couple of companies. As you can see, small companies nobody heard about. L'Oreal, McDonald's, and Nike. The fourth company, which actually it is a company that you haven't heard before probably, is a young company, startup from Israel, that we're developing for them technology called storyboards. And I took this example in order to show you a little bit of out-of-the-box thinking. Because it's not that they invented a new concept or a new offering, but they took something existing and they enhanced it. And they really created a competitive advantage using innovation and using like a little bit of, wiggle. We'll start with Nike. Nike, personally, I don't like their shoes, but I like their brand. They're amazing. They're really doing an amazing job in terms of innovation, and you see it all over. In the corner, you actually see the self-lacing shoes. I don't know who heard about it, who saw it. Okay. Listen, nobody will buy it. No, not a lot. Maybe a lot of Americans that are crazy about Nike. But in the end, it's a huge marketing and branding effort and a huge success. Because this is astonishing. You have here in the main slide, you have the implementation of augmented reality. Nike was one of the first companies to partner with Messenger, with Facebook, to offer augmented reality inside chatbots. So now you can have a conversation in a chatbot, fully automated. It's better, it's worse, but still automated. And during this process, you can also use augmented reality in order to present a new product. In this case, a launch of a basketball shoe. Pretty cool. Here, we have another example from Nike that are utilizing augmented reality in order to allow you to measure your feet. Now, why it's important? Because all of us, we want, as you can see, more and more of us, we're ordering online. Zappos transformed the market. Everybody can basically buy any shoe from the United States or wherever it is, and now they have a very simple solution in terms of size, because we're never sure if the size is correct, incorrect, and so on. Bam, no problem. Experience. Experience is what matters. And you see the importance of experience in their video, the attention to details. Of course, there's a lot of kind of CGI and like cool stuff, but in the end, you can understand the experience. I'm measuring something, I'm sure it's gonna fit, I'm ordering it, that's it, no problem. Another example that I really like of augmented reality, which is kind of guerrilla marketing, it's basically something that Burger King did, and we're actually going to talk about McDonald's a lot in the slides, but I really wanted to add this example of Burger King, or the marketing team in Burger King, utilizing augmented reality to kind of make some fun on McDonald's. So what they did is they launched an app that all what it's doing is that if you are basically, you're targeting any of the McDonald's advertisement, it will show fire on top of the ad, basically burning the advertisements of McDonald's. So that's, it's really nice to have, but it's funny. It's funny, people loved it. It created a lot of buzz around it. And even if it's not the most practical thing, okay, for how much time that people will be actually using it, but still, it did its, it did its thing. McDonald's buys Dynamic Yield. Dynamic Yield is actually neighbors of ours from Israel. It's the first purchase ever of McDonald's, of a company, especially a technological company, 300 million. 300 million that were invested in making sure that their menus are more personalized. Which means that when you go to a drive-in, now in the United States, mostly in the United States, they're using Dynamic Yield's technology in order to personalize your experience. And we will talk a little bit about the automation of this experience, but they understood that they can't just stay and offer something really, simple, and it's basically the same for everybody. All of us were unique in some way, and they understood it. And they decided to invest 300 million in this understanding.
McDonald's spending some $300 million on Dynamic Yield, according to people who are familiar with the deal. The company uses decision technology to help personalize the customer experience in its drive-thrus. Now, the new menu boards will show food based on the time of day, weather, current traffic in stores, and even trending menu items. The tech will also use data to instantly suggest and display additional items that customers might like based on what they've just ordered. The company tested this technology in a few locations last year, and it'll start to roll it out at U.S. restaurants this year and then into some top international markets. From there, McDonald's says it'll start to integrate this technology into its digital experience touch points, including its kiosks and the McDonald's app. This, of course, all a part of the Experience of the Future rollout that the store has taken on as it modernizes and adapts to changing customer preferences. And analysts that I talked to basically said that...
Okay, so automation. Automation is a big thing in 2019. It was a big thing in 2018. And you see basically chains like McDonald's, understanding that in the end there is a lot of, there's a lot of things that we can definitely optimize and automate. And you see those things all over the world, basically replacing in some ways or a lot of ways the cashier, the first interaction of just ordering. So leave alone the experience of, time and what is the experience that I'm getting. Once we are basically connecting it with Dynamic Yield's experience, we have a unique, engaging experience that basically takes McDonald's to the next stage. Same thing goes with Best Buy, a company called Zoom Analytics, but all what they're doing, not all, but what they're doing is basically automated machines connected to cloud that understands what you're buying patterns, and basically taking the vending machines that we all know with the Coca-Cola and like all kind of small things and creating a store out of it. So basically anything can be sold in automated machines that are also smart. L'Oreal. L'Oreal, for me, is one of the most amazing companies. I'm not using their products, but they're really amazing in terms of innovation. They're investing so much effort, so much thinking in what they can achieve with artificial intelligence and augmented reality, which is just amazing.
I really believe that voice technologies and AI are a driving force in the industry right now. As more and more people will discover, experience and buy our products and our brands through voice, we are experimenting in a lot of markets, at least in L'Oreal, to make sure that we can have a great marketing game.
Okay, so L'Oreal basically acquired a company that is doing augmented reality makeup. Since then, we as Spartans, we also had a couple of products or companies that we were working on in terms of implementing it. And they have a lot of investment going on in L'Oreal regarding artificial intelligence, which means helping the customer to get faster to the shades, to the makeup that really will make she or her or him also to look better. And moreover, one of the things that she said is the vocal. So we understand that part of the experience is also going to be automation of the voice. The last thing that I want to show you is really storyboards. Storyboards, as I said, is a young startup company in Israel. Basically, they took a concept that was already existing, mixed styles. It's also an Israeli company. And they moved and created a full automation. So all the ordering is basically happening inside of a chatbot. If a person can basically send to the chatbot as a friend all the pictures, and in the end, it sends them in 48 hours. You already have the prints in your house, and it's a totally non-friction experience. I will fast forward because we're almost done. So, you know, nowadays, you can't really have a keynote without a Steve Jobs quote. So here's the quote. Innovation is saying no to 1,000 things. And I will read it again. Innovation is saying no to 1,000 things. All of you, you have an ocean of opportunities. Of course, it's really depending on your budget, time, attention, and so on. But you have 1 million things that you can do. But there are 1,000 things that don't worth your time and attention and probably won't benefit the company as you think. But there is one thing that will. So look for this one thing. Thank you very much.